Hi, my name is Tanu. I'm a UX designer with an education in computer science and technology and the background of customer service in healthcare as well as experience as an educator. I focused on creating experiences that are meaningful and valuable for the customers with mobile first approach in mind. I aim for the entire user experience to be inclusive, appealing and user centered. I involve user throughout the design process via a variety of research and design techniques to create highly usable and accessible products. So this is my introduction. Now let's come to the PayLight case study. PayLight is a virtual wallet app which I created as part of my UX immersion course at Career Foundry. I designed this project from inception to final visual design through research, ideation, and UX design principles. This app provides a fast and secure platform to users to send, request, and receive money from their family and friends, as well as pay their utility and subscription bills, split expenses, and do shopping using their unique ID. Now, let's take a look at the most important features of PayLight. So there is wallet, where user can link their debit credit card and bank account. And the another great feature is send and request money, where user can send, request and receive money from their family and friends. And the another one is pay bills, where they can pay their utility and subscription bills and pay in stores. And the last important feature is split expenses, where they can create group to split expenses with their friends, roommates and colleagues, and also can see their previously created groups. So these are the main important features of PayLight. I started this project in November 2020 and finished in May 2021. So I spent around 7 months in this project. During this, I got an opportunity to learn as well as implement full spectrum of UX methodologies like user interviews, surveys, card sorting, affinity mapping, usability testing, preference testing, wireframing, prototyping, and visual designing. I did my most of the design work in Figma, and I also used Usability Hub, Optimal Workshop, and Google Forms. So let's talk about my design thinking process. I will give you a quick overview. First, I define the problem statement which I am going to solve and the objective to create this app. Then I did market research in the form of competitive analysis. As well as I did user research, in that I conducted user surveys and interviews to learn more about the problem space. Based on the information I gathered in user surveys and interviews, I created user personas, user journeys and user flows. Then I created the information architecture of my app in the form of sitemap. After that, I created wireframes, low, mid and high fidelity, and also did prototyping to test with the real users. Then I conducted usability testing and test the app. After that, it was the refining phase. Then I was polishing my design and did lot of iterations. Then finally, I reach out to the final product. Now we can go in more details and dive into it. First, I defined the problem statement. Our users required a fast and secure platform where they can send, request and receive money from their family and friends, and also pay their bills, split expenses and do shopping without sharing their personal data, such as debit, credit card and bank account information with everyone. Then I made competitive and UX analysis and evaluated the top competitors in the market, which is PayPal and Google Pay. And here we have little overview of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of both competitors. So after analyzing, I identify some of the key friction points in terms of usability, such as transaction history page is not clear enough for the users in this app. Split expenses feature is hidden under the hamburger menu. Send and request money options are confusing for the users. So it really helped me to better understand to our competitors and their frictions, which I addressed in my app. Now it's time to know about the potential users to learn more about the problem space from the user's perspective. So I conducted online surveys with 30 participants to get the quantitative data. And also I conducted user interviews with 6 participants to get the qualitative data. And there are some key insights which I gained from user interviews and surveys. 75% of the participants are using PayPal app, which is really interesting. For security perspective, they need two-factor authentication and fingerprint. They expect all the financial related features in one app. And the 90% of the participants are using virtual wallet app for their shopping purpose. So the data I collected through user surveys and interviews, It really helped me to know users' attitude towards payment apps, as well as their needs, goals, and pain points. And based on that, I created 3 user personas to visualize the target users of my product. There is Anna. She is 37 years old music teacher, wants an e-wallet app where she could pay easily in stores. He is Matt, 34 years old recruiter, looking for fast and secure e-wallet app to send money to his parents. She is Jennifer, 24 years old student, needs an app to split expenses with friends and send money to them. By focusing on needs, goals, and pain points of these different audience group, I created my web app for these 3 types of the users. After creating the user personas, then I moved on to user journey maps. I created 3 user journey maps to illustrate the phases, tasks, thoughts, and emotions encountered by each persona as they complete a task outlined in a specific scenario. These tasks helped me to gain certain opportunities for my project, and that helped me to improve the overall user experience of my app, specifically considering the main app features. Next, I moved on to user flows. I created the 3 user flows by defining the specific objective of each of my persona and the path which my persona will take to complete that objective. I chose the objective which matched to the main functions of my app. These flows really helped me to avoid the common mistakes which I could do while developing my app. So with these user flows in mind, I developed the information architecture of my app. Initially, I envisaged the 7 main screens in my sitemap, such as profile, wallet, send and receive, split expenses, summary, help, and settings. Then I executed the card sorting process with 8 participants to get the clear understanding of my user's mental model, and based on that, I made some changes to have the clear navigational structure with 6 main screens like wallet, send and receive, split expenses, transaction history, help, and settings. Now my revised sitemap is much more user-friendly than I had initially set out with. Feeling to have a clear navigational structure of my app, I then began to create my web app and started with sketches with paper and pencil in the form of low fidelity wireframes, which I outlined the basic functions of PayLight. After that, I used Figma to transfer into mid-fidelity wireframes and started adding details to better communicate the form and functions of my app. Then, through further iteration, I refined my design into high-fidelity wireframes and prototypes. High-fidelity clickable prototypes take much longer to create as the goal is to flash out every single detail of the design. It looks and feels like a live system in terms of layout, navigation, usability, and closely resembles the finished product or true representation of the user interface. Now it's time to test my prototype. I conducted remote moderated usability testing with 6 participants, and each session was 40 to 45 minutes long, as I need to test the complete product to evaluate the accessibility, flow, and the usability of the app. After that, I refined my design based on the outcomes of the analysis, observation, and the participants' feedback. So out of which these are the few examples. And the most important issue was the pay bill feature was a little confusing for the users in the wallet section. Then I created the separate pay bill feature and also designed the separate pay bills landing page. After completing design iterations, I started focusing on visual design to make my design look appealing, elegant, and professional to the users. To achieve this, I conducted preference testing, and with this feedback in hand, I then did a final iterations in my design, applying the results of the preference testing. There are the few examples of the preference testing, and the most important one was the sign-up screen. Here I designed 2 sign-up screens, and I wanted to check if the users prefer the text boxes or the lines on the sign-up screens form. Then I found the sign-up text boxes have performed better, as 88% of the users liked it over the lines. I checked the screens from the users because it was important for me to know that which one is really understandable for the users so that they will not get difficulty to create an account. After that, I decided to check for the accessibility flaws in my design by using accessibility guidelines to ensure the usability of the app for the people with disabilities and the design are accessible to as many people as possible. Then I found some flaws in some of the screens which I improved. The most important one is I added labels above the text fields because we don't want to test the user's memory to recall what was the name of the fields. And there are the final design iterations which I made over the time, as I always focused on polishing the design and the usability of my app to make it more useful and usable product. So there are some samples like onboarding screen, home screens, login screens, hamburger menu, dashboard screen, bottom navigation bar, link card screen, pay bill screen, and the dashboard after transaction screen. This is the most important one. Originally it was like this, and then I improved through further iterations. Here I changed the design and the color of the screen, as well as I focused on the transactions which become easy for the users to understand. At the end, I created my design language guide to hand over to the developers. So this is the small sample of my design language guide. If you want to view my complete design language guide, you can click on this button. So now this is the sample of the final product. Now the challenges and the learnings. During the journey of the PayLight, I faced several challenges, such as finding the participant for the usability testing, fulfill different users' needs in one app, narrow down important features. Now the learnings. While working on this project, there were a lot of learnings for me. As I learned that we don't need to conclude based on our assumptions. Rather, we should always validate the design by reaching out to our users first, and then keep iterating based on the learnings. Thank you so much for joining me to the walkthrough of my PayLight case study. Please check the prototype if you want to learn more about this app. Please contact if you have any question or feedback. I am looking forward to hear from you. Thanks again. Bye now.